I love crowds, and I hate being alone more than anything. I'm an extrovert. I'm an extremely social person, and I can't stand being alone. Introverts will say that they need to go home and recharge before another social interaction, but I need to spend time around other people to not feel tired and mopey and lethargic. I need momentum. I need to go. I need to share my life experiences with other people, to participate in something bigger than myself. That is what I live for. And I've begun to really become aware of this aspect of myself recently. I've begun to realize just how social of a creature that I am, especially since transitioning. And I've become a lot more confident in myself and aware of my physical form and presentation, and my agency as a member of society. So I've just become radically extroverted and radically social, especially the past few months. This summer, I've gone to so many parties, gone on so many dates, hung out with so many people. It's really an integral part of my life to be, at least right now anyway, to be as extroverted as possible, because I kind of feel like I'm making up for lost time. Before I transitioned, I always had that inclination to be social, to share experiences with other people, but I just didn't know how to express that, and I didn't know how to act on it. I honestly feel like I just didn't know how social interaction worked when I lived as a boy, but I wanted it so bad. And it's not like I was ever totally without friends, or I couldn't or wouldn't socialize. I would still go to a lot of parties, and I would hang out with my friends consistently and everything like that, but there was just always something holding me back. When I went to a party, I would observe. I would be a wallflower. I would think to myself, what a fascinating scenario I found myself in here. And if people talked to me, I would talk to them, but I wouldn't instigate any social interactions. I wouldn't really party and have fun the way that I do now. Now I can just go up to somebody at a party and be like, oh my god, I love your shirt. What's your name? I couldn't do that as a boy. I didn't have the confidence or the understanding of social etiquette to gracefully execute something like that, even though it seems so ridiculously simple to me now. There was just something profound holding me back. But I am so glad that I've broken through that. And I'm so glad that I can be social the way that I want to be. Because the more I think about it, the more this applies to every area of my life. I love cities. I grew up in a small town, and within the past half decade or so of my life, I realized that I needed to live in a city. I mean, at least as I currently understand what I want my lifestyle to be, is that it needs to be in a city. Because just the scale of human experiences here, the scale of just activity, there's so many people having so many experiences, doing so many things all the time, and I want to be part of that. I want to observe and experience and participate in other people's lives and the collective lives of a community, of a segment of humanity. I get that by living in a city. I can get that every day. I can step outside and find something meaningful to do with other people. I have so many friends here. There's so many people here. I can call anybody, any day, and find something fun to do and craft a meaningful experience with another person. Or find one. In a small town, I couldn't do that. I only had a few friends, just because there's only a few people living there in the grand scheme of things, and there's only a few things happening, and there's only a few experiences to be had at any moment. And it's nice to visit my hometown and find some interesting experiences to create for myself or reconnect with old friends, but I could never live there because it just doesn't offer enough for me. It doesn't offer enough opportunity for human experience for me. it also comes down, I mentioned parties, but like specifically I go to a lot of house shows, and if you've ever been to a house show, you'll know that moshing is a what is it? It's a profound experience, that's for sure. In case you don't know what moshing is, it's like when a crowd at a show like jumps around and like bumps into each other, like kind of like ramming each other, like the way a football player would tackle somebody maybe, but like you just go crazy to the music, and it's like it's technically like dancing, I guess, like physical movement to the music, and that is, like I said, a profound experience. It's like weirdly intimate too. Like you are so close to other people, shoulder to shoulder, and you can feel the sweat and the heat of the room, and the music is so loud, and you know that you're sharing this experience with all these people in the room, and you're just like physically proving that you exist by just like running around and jumping around and slamming into one another. It's crazy, and it's such a visceral experience, and it makes me feel so alive, like so sure of myself that I'm really there in that moment. And I love that other people are also experiencing that, and they are also sure that they're there in that experience, and we can talk about it and validate it to one another. That's like another facet of this extroversion thing, is like I have this like existential anxiety about confirming reality and like my experience of it. If I'm alone in my room and maybe my mental health isn't doing too good, I might start to get anxious about not knowing if what I'm experiencing and observing are real. Like, sure, I can see everything around me, but how do I know that that's like an actual reflection of reality? How do I know that my brain or my eyes aren't playing a trick on me or something? But if I've got other people to verify that, honestly, they don't even need to verify it like explicitly, verbally, just because their presence and interaction with me confirms and anchors me to this life, this reality, this experience. And that is something that I really needed, especially before I transitioned, because I was just so unsure of my own physical presence and my own physical form. Like, I just ignored the fact that I had a body all the time, pretty much. I wasn't aware of what I looked like, and I basically only existed in my own head. Now I'm very certain of my physical presence and form, and I can kind of anchor myself to reality just by being content with who I am, but that was not always the case. And transitioning has helped me a lot with that. But there's just, even still, since I transitioned, I like having other people experience the same thing as me and confirm that it's a true experience, it's a real reflection of reality, and I'm just participating in this like interwoven collective experience between multiple people, and it's not just me bouncing around thoughts in my own head, being the only person observing, experiencing, living. That is too much for me, and it's too much of a focus on myself too. That's why I like crowds, because you can disappear into that interwoven fabric of experience, or you can choose to participate in it and influence it and make your mark. But either way, you aren't the sole focus. You can be a simple part of the background or a brilliant addition, but either way, it's not just you. That's what I like about being in a crowd. And that's like, even when I'm in a crowd by myself, not doing anything, it's still better than being by myself at home and not doing anything. Or even if I'm like reading or drawing or doing something mundane, I would rather be in a crowd of people doing that. I do not want to be by myself ever, basically. And maybe that's a little much. Maybe that's taking that a little far. And I probably have some more internal work to do on that. But I'm just acknowledging that I am very dependent upon other people in my life, And I enjoy the presence of other people. I dislike being alone. I like being in a crowd. I like being a human being connecting with other human beings. This video is a little different from the ones that I've been doing recently. If you watched the whole thing, thank you. I've been feeling a little weird about making videos just about being trans. If you watched the first video I made about being trans, I think I called it like trans YouTube content or something like that, you'll know that I have some reservations about branding myself as a trans YouTuber or content creator, and that being the only thing that I discuss and talk about. I fully expect this video to get less views than the other ones that I have, like more directly addressing trans topics. And if I'm being totally honest, I had a hard time filming this one in finding like my thesis and like what it is that I wanted to talk about. And I felt a little directionless and unsure or hesitant while filming it, but I'm glad that I did, and I'm gonna keep experimenting with different types of content, and hopefully it'll get better, and I'll find more interesting topics to talk about that may be related to being trans, may not be, but I'm gonna try and expand the scope of my channel. So hopefully you like hearing me talk about other things, even if it's not being trans. Like, subscribe, comment, you know how it is. You gotta get on that YouTube grind. Alright, thanks everyone. Bye.